No problem, Paul.
Okay, Noel. The draw was made for the 2024 Nations League Group Two, Group Two B. This is the next competitive tournament, qualifying tournament. So it'll be starting next September. But the draw is made there last week. So we look at the draw. You can see the graphics. So we have England, Finland, Ireland, and Greece. And as someone said, you couldn't write it better, would say. So, so what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, probably the hardest draw we could get, Paul, to be honest with you. A lot of people would be wondering why England were in the same League B as us. What happened was in the Nations League previously, England had a very bad Nations League. They actually ended up getting relegated. So that's how they actually ended up in League B in the first place. And of course, I think England, Southgate at the time, pretty much just testing out who players didn't work out from. I think they lost 4-0 at home to Hungary of all teams. Hungary, of course, are doing very well at the moment. But that's how England are in League B. They were in pot 1, we were in pot 3. As you see there, England pot 1, Finland pot 2, Ireland pot 3, and of course Greece, our old friends from the qualifiers from the Euros, are in pot 4. So it's going to be a very, very hard group, Paul, for the new manager, whoever that new manager will be. I've been saying it there the last couple of times we've been on the videos with you. We need to do well in the Nations League because that's why our seeding is so poor before we get to the main qualifiers. And I don't see us getting any promotion to League A after this, Paul, to be quite honest, because I think we've been in a battle for second because I think England, seeing how they are, Paul, they're going to the Euros. They're a very, very good squad. They'd be seeing themselves as being promoted from that group, to be quite honest with you. I think they'd be looking at getting all the wins against, home and away against Finland, home and away against Ireland, home and away against Greece. So we're up against it, Paul. If you're going on form, Paul, you could say that we're probably going to end up finishing last in this group based on our current form. That's all I'm saying. New manager, new ideas, maybe a few new players, new tactics. That might work a little bit differently. But on form, Paul, yeah, we're probably out. It's a fact. We're probably the worst in that group at the moment. So it's going to be a very, very challenge for the new manager to do very well in this group. Yeah. That's for sure.
The way I look at Noel, you have to have expectations, but they have to be realistic. So yeah. and we all know every game is played on the day on the grass and all that. But if you look at it, England are going to win that group. So Ireland's target should be to finish second. That would be to show has there been when a new manager coming in and the players developing, they're maybe older again. Will there be that's a realistic target? Can you go second? Now that would be a big ask. Greece beat us home and away, and deservedly beat us home and away. We haven't played Finland in a competitive game for a long time, but Finland, roughly give or take, they can have some very good players, but generally they have players playing across Europe in different leagues, plus their own league as well, we'll say, but they'll be generally just around the same standard, maybe slightly better, but that has to be a realistic target. Have we improved to finish second?
That's right, because
we'll have to definitely improve. We might even do well to finish third, but that should be the target, not to win it. England are going to win that group even before the ball is kicked. So that should be your target for the new manager. Can he improve? And more importantly, can the players improve to finish second?
Yeah, the fixture details came out about a day after the draw, Paul. And the first game we have is on Saturday, the 7th of September, at home to England. And then on the Tuesday, the 10th of September, we're home to Greece. So we really need to pick up point now. Not being negative here, but we can't afford to lose those first two games, particularly because that's was the criticism of Kenny's tenure, where we were out of groups, even in the Nations League, Paul. I remember the last Nations League we had, we lost away to Armenia. We were really up against us, and then I think we lost at home to Ukraine a couple of days after that as well. So we definitely need to beat Greece at home to give ourselves any hope of getting second in the group. If we could even possibly sneak a point against England, you never know. England might have a hangover from the Euros. They may have done very well in this. England could have a new manager by then. You never know. Southgate might go if they don't win the Euros. There's talk that he would have to win the Euros to justify himself getting another campaign. No, I think he's done a very good job for England, but I think a lot of people feel he might be a bit too negative in the big games, particularly in the Euros final in Euro 2020. I think Italy would definitely dare to take it. It was more the case of Southgate being a little negative. So he's under pressure this summer. They probably have to win to justify his job. So he could have two new managers by the time that game happens on the 7th of September. But yeah, those first 2 games, both of them at home, Paul. We really do need we need to beat Greece to have some hope of finishing second, because we'll be on the back foot completely if we've got 2 losses in the first 2 games, particularly at home.
Yeah, so if you look at now, of course, things change. We'll say in Greece, we don't know. Will Gus Pye there? Will he be moved on? I don't know. I'm not sure who's over Finland. Players come, players go. Do you know what I mean? We'll say,
Yeah.
like if you look at Finland a few years ago, they had 2 players in there. With Liverpool, you had Littleman and you had Sami Hyypiä, 2 top players, and they all had players playing in Denmark. They had players playing in Holland and across some of the European leagues.
Yeah.
Plus, you'll have their own club, maybe Helsinki or a big club there in Finland. But generally, the Finnish players, they maybe come to their own clubs first and then they move out across to the other clubs, maybe, you know, across Europe. So, but I think they played Northern Ireland, they beat them, but generally they're very competitive. Finland will say, you know, they wouldn't be the greatest, but they haven't qualified for a major tournament for a long number of years, but they will be very competitive. And of course, if you're playing above in Finland, above in Helsinki, in the autumn time, you're going to have snow. Now the pitch will be dry, but it'll be cold weather, so they have that advantage at home, I'll say. But they will have players across Europe, which is probably, we shouldn't underestimate them either.
Yeah, well, to be fair, Paul, they did qualify Euro 2020. No, I don't think they got
Sorry,
out.
I apologise. I got
Yeah,
that wrong.
yeah, they beat Denmark 1-0. That was the game most famous for Chris Eriksen collapsing on the pitch. But they didn't get out of the group as far as I remember. And maybe did. I'm hoping to correction on that.
Yeah.
We did play them also in one of the first of Stevie Kenny's Nations League campaigns, and we were very competitive against them, but we lost away and at home 1-0 in both occasions. It was a very tight game. They obviously took the chances, we didn't, but we're very competitive against them. And look, I don't think we should be too fearful of Finland and Greece, but on form, they're 2 better teams than us at the moment, Paul. And look, the friendlies they have coming up, that's before the summer. There's a few friendlies.
There's 2 at home in March, and then you have a couple of away games before the Euros.
That's right. There's a few games against. One of them is against Belgium, at first, I believe, and
Switzerland.
Yeah, and we like the next month or so. Certainly in the next couple of weeks, we need a new manager in before to give him time to get gel with the players, try a few tactics, find out who he wants, who he doesn't want, and be prepared properly by the time that game in September comes down. Because once the Euros is over, the league, the club form will start up again in August, and we really do need to have a proper base, for the game against England. Because realistically, Paul, England beat Scotland. I know it was a friendly beat. England beat Scotland 3-1 at Hampden Park there in a recent friendly. I know it's a friendly, but Scotland at the moment are a much better team than us. They're going to the Euros. They're a settled side. They're a very good manager, Steve Clarke. If England could do that to Scotland, they could definitely do that to us, or even worse. So we really do need to have a manager in place, a good balanced squad, and you can only do that with a new manager in as quickly as possible. So the FAI really do need to get the move on now in the next couple of weeks, get the new manager in.
Of course, the Irish players too know. We do know, and the young players coming through, and obviously the club season has to play out this season first, we'll say. But you're hoping that there's 3 or 4 of them now starting to play, getting regular games in the Premiership. At the top of the Championship, Southampton might be in the playoffs. You don't know. You have, and of course, the big thing too is that the striker for Blackburn Rovers, Sammy Smollett, he's driving in the goal. I think he scored at the weekend again. Now, Blackburn, that was the cup game, but Blackburn are trying to, or the league game, I should say, but Blackburn are they might make the playoffs. I'm not sure will they get up or not, but again, that's a huge one too. But I know he's 28, he'll be 29 years of age, but he's an informed striker. So we have to try and get everyone on board that's available. Do you know what I mean? And hopefully these young players will maybe get promoted or get more first team football.
But that's for sure, Paul, because I think, Ferguson's form is he's very injury prone, and he's only 19. We can't put all our hopes on him, but he hasn't really kicked on since the start of the season. I think even since the hat trick he got against Newcastle, he's had a bit of injuries. His form has been up and down, shall we say, Paul. He can't really get into the Brighton team. He hasn't started a few games, and when he does start, he's taken up very early. So he's in a bit of a poor enough form at the moment for his own high standards, to be fair, that he set from last year. But yeah, Smollett, we really do, whatever issue is happening, and Kenny said he has called him up a few times, he hasn't worked out. Whatever issue he has, Kenny said he couldn't be away from the family for about 10 days. Look, that family issue, maybe, I don't know. But we really do need him in the squad now because he's a player
and
on
sorry, no, for
form.
cutting across before we finish up. He's qualified to play for Hungary. Hungary are in the Euros, and if I'm not mistaken, Ireland are down to play Hungary in a friendly match not too long before the Euros as a warm up for Hungary. So
Yeah,
we better get our skates on because he could end up
yeah.
lining up for Hungary. There's a possibility of it.
Yeah, he has said he wants us to play for Ireland, but that can change as well. We know ourselves in the past. We had a player called Declan Rice playing 3 games for us, and before we knew it, he was gone. So we really do need to get our skates on. If he's a player in form, we need all the players in form as much as we can, Paul. To be quite honest with you, um, whether they played for us, they haven't played for us. If they qualify for us, we got to get them in. Like we should make no apologies for it. We're at a low base now, Paul. To be honest with you, I think if you look at England, this is the first time in my and I can remember I was like 2 years and a couple of months. I think the last competitive game against England was the Wembley in 1991, the 1-1 draw. So I've never seen us play a like obviously it was very small, but I've never seen us being able to watch a game against England, home or away, really competitive game. There's been a few friendlies, but they haven't been great. But I
Yeah.
haven't really seen us play against England. That'd be a great occasion, and hopefully, by the time that comes around, we'll be able to give them a good, decent match.
Yeah. So now, just before we finish up, move on to the next topic. Just what I know it's this next autumn. It's a long time away, and the games come up in September, October, November. But what do you hope to finish in that group? Just before we move on.
My hope is that we can get second, Paul, quite honestly, because we need to do well in the Nations League to get a good seeding for the World Cup draw. But my fear is if we don't, if my fear is that we could finish bottom. That's all going on previous
Yeah.
campaigns so far, Paul. Finland and Greece are better sides than us at the moment. That can all change with better form, a good pattern to play, a good new manager in. But if you ask me to call it, Paul, the hope is second. Realistically, do I think we'll finish bottom? We could. So that's the bit about Bush here. That's just on form the way it is at the moment.
Yeah, I'd say it's a realistic target. I think between Finland, Ireland, and Greece, if Ireland step up to the mark, they have to step up to the mark. They're capable of finishing second. That should be a realistic target for improvement. But we could finish third or fourth too, because between Finland, Ireland, and Greece.